spike?
Good question, Private. Now, the point of that spike was not to stab people, obviously. It was nothing to do with that. Now, the little spiky knob on the top of the helmet was actually... The idea was to deflect incoming sword strikes from above. So if
What?
some Frenchman's running at you on horse and they swings the sword at you, there's a chance that the sword might hit your little pointy dongle at the top of your head, and then it will ricochet away from your head off towards the side. And that was why they had that little dongle, Private. It was nothing to do with stabbing people or anything like that. It was to do with protecting you from sword strikes.
Okay, that's pretty interesting, but I don't see how it would deflect it away from their head. If you hit the thing, wouldn't it just angle downward into the top of the helmet?
No, because of how it's positioned, it would angle it down, but also either to the left or right, depending on what the angle of you struck it from. So the idea was it would deflect it down and away from the top of your head, and more towards past your shoulders. That was the philosophy, anyway. Really, by the time of the old World War One boogaloo, it was just more symbolic, really, and they ditched it by about 1916. And they went to a more traditional steel helmet, called the Stahlhelm, which is made famous in the sequel by the old painters minions who used to wear them. Although they weren't the only ones. Another fun fact, 1930s Chinese army also wore those helmets. For old China was actually good mates with the old Austrian painter and his men, until the Austrian painter decided that he'd rather be friends with Japanese people instead. Just more history for you, Private Number One. Oh yes,
Was
how
not
is
even
that
aware of
koala DNA going for you?
How is it itches down low. I don't know why.
Yeah,
Why
that's the
does it
koala
itch?
DNA. Don't worry. It's genetic.
God damn it.
Just don't scratch it so much and it won't fall off. Or do.
Or
You know?
spread.
Up to you, Private.
Why? Why is it so itchy?
Because koalas are actually quite dirty creatures. I mean, they're Australian for a start. They're all bloody criminals. In fact, that's why we nuked Australia in 2181. We hit it with about 42 direct nuclear weapons. Turns out it actually made the problem worse because the Australians mutated into super mutants. Not the greatest
Nothing
idea,
great.
but you know, we gave it a go.
Did they also develop the giant spiders?
Oh, they
They
were
have
there
like,
already.
oh, right. The
Yeah,
husband spider just got bigger.
yeah, nuking them just made the spiders bigger, ironically, which made the problem worse. Not our smartest idea, but you know, someone in head office was really keen on using some of the nuclear weapons from the budget. Right. Now, Private, you were asking a question a long time ago while I was splicing more DNA into you. Why Bulgarians have got all these weird weapons. Now, I want to
Indeed,
tell you
why?
a story about the Balkan Wars. Now, there's so many of those bloody wars that I'm going to have to stipulate which ones I'm talking about, because there's like 50 billion of them. But the ones we're specifically talking about are the 1912 to 1913 ones. So, it starts off like this. Once upon a time, all the Balkans, like the Serbia and Montenegro and Bulgaria and Romania, were all ruled by the bloody Turks, or the Ottomans at the time. Now, obviously, the old Muslims ruling over these Christian countries, they weren't really happy about it and would keep revolting every 20 or 30 years to try and get independence. And Serbia managed to do it in the 1880s, but no one else really managed to get themselves independent. But in 1912, all the Slav nations decided fuck the Turks and launched a massive revolt and war to kick the Turks out of the Balkans. Which they did very well, actually. Especially the Serbians and the Romanians managed to sort of come in and kick the shit, and the Hungarians managed to come and kick the shit out of the Turks, kicked them all out of the Balkans. But there was one nation who was a bit unhappy. Now, Bulgaria didn't get as much out of the war as they wanted. They were a bit salty that they didn't get enough territory. So, Private, what do you think the most logical thing to do in this scenario would be? You fought a war, you've got some territory out of it, but you haven't got enough. What do you do?
Go back to war to take more territory.
Good answer, and that's correct. So, the Bulgarians decided to declare war on the Greeks, and the Serbians, and the Romanians, and the Montenegrins, and everybody. Now, naturally, this ended as well as you would think it was. And
yeah, 1 person versus 5, I think you named just now.
And the Bulgarians actually ended up ending the war with less territory than they started. So, oops.
Fucking bravo, I guess.
In fact, even the Turks managed to reclaim some more of their territory back from the Bulgarians than the Bulgarians had originally taken. So the Bulgarians were a bit salty about this, so they appealed to their good friend Russia and went, Russia, you're our friend, you love us, please help us, tell the nations to stop bullying us, or maybe could you please send some military help? Now the old Russians went, ha 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 ha, no, you're an idiot.
Yeah, you made this bed, you can sit in it.
Yeah, it's your fault. Like, what the fuck do you want us to do about it? So the Bulgarians got really sulky and went, well, if you're not going to help us, we're going to go be friends with Germany and we're going to have our own clubhouse and it's going to be so much better. Which is what they did. So the Bulgarians stopped being friends with Russia. Friendship with Russia ended. Friendship with Germany began. So, when World War I kicked off and the Austro-Hungarians were having a bit of trouble beating up Serbia because they're equally as shit as everyone else in this story, the Bulgarians decided to attack the Serbians from the rear and avenge themselves of their humiliating 1913 defeat. And they started out and got a bit of land out of it, but obviously, by the end of the war, they ended up losing more than they started with. So, you know, the moral of this story is Bulgarians are idiots. So yes, if you're going to start a war with your neighbours, perhaps the smartest thing to do would be to be able to finish it.
Can only agree. Any chance you can spawn on me, Sarge?
I was trying, but the Magical Sky Commissar said no, and he's dumped me back towards the other end.
9!
Well, it's the will of the Magical Sky Commissar, and we must respect the will of the Magical Sky Commissar. Praise be upon his name.
Praise be upon his name.
Good, he won't smite you for that. But yes, Bulgarians, they're interesting sorts. And that's why they have... Ow! That's why they have a mix of German and Russian stuff, because they used to be friends with both.
Interesting. So is that also why the Chinese had, for the longest time, had a license-built version of the C-96 Mauser, which was just shitter in every way?
Well, that, there, Private, was kind of true, kind of not. So they did buy C-96 broom handles from Germany because they very much liked them. They would put stocks on them and treat them as little mini carbines. But it was not the old Germans you have to thank for the love affair of the C-96. It's the Spanish, who made a shitload of illegal copies of the Mauser broom handle and then would sell them to the Chinese at cheap prices. And the Chinese ones were really bad quality. The Spanish ones were mid-quality, and then the German ones were actually high quality.
So why would they replace... Is the C-96 not better than the P-38 Walter or the Luger?
See, the C96 broom handle has two, I suppose, well, three, I guess, fundamental flaws that would preclude it from modern, sort of more military service.
Would
One
that be the
is
stripper clip?
correct, the lack of a detachable magazine, Private.
But they fixed that in later models, though.
They did when they made the fully automatic version. They also made a detachable magazine version. But two, it's not blowback, it is recoil operated, so it's quite finicky about the ammo you need. Bang. And three, the cartridge. It's a little bit too high powered for what it needs to be. And everyone else was going to 9mm. So,
Wait,
the
this thing is
C96...
7.5 millimeter, isn't it?
Yes. 7.65 to be correct.
Yeah, so like, isn't that slightly smaller than 9mm?
It is smaller, but there is more powder in the case, so it goes faster.
So it had a more powerful round due to the amount of powder it had, not so much it being a bigger bullet.
Correct. For remember, bigger bullets tend to actually move slower than faster bullets. But what you also need to remember is, while Americans don't understand this, sometimes bigger bullet is not actually the answer. Sometimes faster bullet is the answer. But it all
yeah,
depends.
that's why we used EBR rounds for the 5.56, traveling at a whopping 3,000 meters a second. Hard to miss when the bullet goes straight line.
I remember those days before they invented plasma rifles, and then we all used to just melt each other. Good times, good times.
But now we're using the .277 in the sphere, or 6.8 mil.
Yes, spoiler alert, Private, that project only lasts about 10 years, goes massively over budget, and then they replace it with something else. Sorry to spoil your future, Private,
God,
but you know,
damn it!
Just gotta tell you the truth here.
I haven't even gotten to use the thing in person yet. I'm
My
so
arm
excited
got
because
shot
we are
off.
going to get a batch of them soon, apparently.
My arm was shot off.
I'm out of
This
ammo.
makes me
Shit.
sad.
Where's the ammo box? Oh no!
There is actually an ammo box around there, Private. You gotta go look in that hut. The plane, the Sky Commissaries are coming.
I have to.
The Sky Commissar spotted the enemies, and you were already dead.
I rounded the corner trying to find the ammo box, and there were 4 of them staring at me, being like, "Oh hi!"
Yes, you are very used to having 4 German men coming in staring at you going, hi.
I don't know why they looked at me so lustfully.
I really need to maybe remodify your DNA to remove the ostrich or something. There's something in your genetic combination that's wrong, but we'll get to that at some point.
I'm gonna throw a grenade inside there.
Also, I must say, Private, just as a bit of a historical fact, the old C-96, you landed before the placement. You didn't actually get anything.
Yeah, I noticed that. I will aim higher next time. There's 3 on our left. Ugh! There's one coming behind you, Sarge. 2 of them behind you.
Yeah. I am down to my bayonet because my single shot takes too long to reload.
I'm on my way.
Right.
Friendly fire's not on, right?
No, Private. Because I have enough problems in this world without accidentally shooting you in the head repeatedly.
Got it.
Even though I keep wanting to. Very much so.
Keep poking my eye out with that damn bayonet, Sarge.
Don't worry, I'll just replace it with another seagull.
Yeet. Does a seagull have better eyesight on average than a human? I can't remember.
No, but you know, I keep running over seagulls and I need something to do with the body parts. They spend too long in my freezer otherwise.
Oh, did that guy catch you off guard that you just stopped mid-sentence, Sarge?
I did think he was actually going to shoot me, but I managed to reload and shoot him first. Now, oh, the music from the heavens is starting, which means we are
where the
winning.
fucking ammo box was! I ran past it 3 times! I hate myself.
And so do I, Private. But yes, the C-96 broom handle was never actually officially adopted as a military firearm. See, back in the day, officers, you had to buy your own pistol. It was kind of one of the rules. You had to buy your own
That
gun.
was the thing till '96, I think, for the U.S. as well. You could buy whatever pistol you wanted and use in the army.
Correct. So a lot of people, when having the choice of the 1883 Reich revolver, which is a single action fucking gate loading piece of shit, they just bought broom handles because they're fucking better. But then in 1908, the Germans went, oh, we're just going to use the Luger. So then you had to go buy a Luger. But some people still bought broom handles. So you provided your own ammo, but that's also one of the reasons they made the famous Red 9 private. Because in that way case, anyone that private bought their own broom handle could also use standard bullets, because it used the same ammo as the Luger. Fun fact. And that's
didn't
why
realize they
Leon
made this thing
Kennedy
different.
uses the Red 9.